RLCraft, the most well-known modpack to ever be created for Minecraft. Oh, and it's hard too. But I think you get my point. So I decided to try it out on the newest and now hardest version of it. This is only 10 days, so if you want to see an extended version, let's try to hit 10 likes on this video. With that being said, however, let's get right into it. When I spawned in the world, the first thing I started to do was look for some rocks scattered on the ground. They would help me create my first tools and progress. My mind was a bit foggy on how to start out, so I decided to search up the recipe for a hatchet. I remembered I could get sticks by breaking the leaves from trees, so I went up to a tree and started hacking away at some of its leaves. After looking at the recipe for the hatchet, I remembered I would need to make a flint knife first so I could get the plant string required for the recipe. To make the knife, I needed to get some flint from gravel, so I went out to try and find some. After a bit of searching around, I found this little mound of gravel across this ravine. I then took the flint I got from it and hit it against the ground to make some flint shards. Using the flint knife, I was able to get some plant fibers from the surrounding grass around me. I then crafted some plant string with the plant fibers. I then used the plant string, stick, and flint shard to make my flint hatchet. I would now finally be able to cut down my first tree. At the time, I didn't know that I could use my hatchet to get planks from the logs, so I decided to kill some cows for XP and their food. In the near distance, I saw some sort of structure that resembled a kind from a village, so I started to make my way over there. After looting up a bit from the village, I made my way over to the village's waystone, which lets you teleport between other waystones and is just a convenient way of getting from point A to point B. Unfortunately, you cannot break waystones and replace them somewhere else. As I entered a house in the village, I failed to see the green flying dragon in the background, not too far from the village. My neglect came to sting me in the back, as a dragon would notice my presence and make its way over to me, and to keep it short, he wasn't friendly. For the time being, however, I got lucky as the dragon seemed to lose interest in me fairly quickly after I ran away a short distance. As the night approached, I settled down in the small broken down structure to smelt my food. An idea popped in my brain and I decided to try and place some logs on the ground and then try to right click them with my axe. The idea seemed familiar but still foggy. To my luck, I was right and now knew how to get wooden planks. After smelting my food and crafting some wooden tools with my newly found planks, I ran back to the village to get some wool for a bed. I then made a bed and ended off day 1 at the village. Waking up on day 2, I went to go loot some more of the village, as well as make a little chest area to keep all my loot in. I then built myself an iron saw using the loot I got from the village. This will help me make wooden planks way quicker. After storing my chest a bit more, I went over to a villager's house to get some cobblestone for stone tools. Having made some stone tools, I felt a bit more confident exploring, so I decided to go to the big structure I saw when I first spotted the village. This would turn out to have been a bad idea. I didn't expect to fall down, but thankfully I survived the fall and was able to make my way away from the dragon. That fall hurt me pretty bad. Thankfully, however, I remembered how health worked in RLCraft. I searched up how to make some bandages, because then I could use them to heal parts of my body. The recipe was rather easy to make, and only took a bit to gather the materials. Having used those bandages, parts of my body would now slowly regenerate to max health. I then decided to go on a killing spree for XP. If you don't know how XP works in RLCraft, you use it for a variety of things like passive skills and upgrading your stats to unlock the ability to use equipment and various items. Right now, I was trying to get levels to upgrade my defense and fighting skills so that I could wear iron armor and use an iron sword. After killing a few more mobs, I went back to my little base and made a lockpick to try and open a chest that I found before while searching the village. Unfortunately, I failed and took damage in doing so. Thinking it would be a good idea, I decided to install a map mod. At the time, I didn't know they could craft a map called an Antique Atlas, so if you guys want to see an extension of this video, let me know if I should keep this mod in the game. I then started making progress on a small farm. After adding the final torch to the farm, I went to sleep to end day 2. When I woke up on day 3, I decided to work a bit more on my farm. Adding the last of my sugarcane, I looked back at the map for some places to explore. After a bit of looking, I found what seemed to be a battle tower, which from what I remember has a lot of loot but is also very dangerous. So with the thirst effect still on me, I started making my way over to the battle tower. As I started to approach the battle tower, I found this hobbit-looking home under a hill. I decided to go inside and explore. I found a lot of wood and other useful loot like armor. After seeing how nice it was here, I started making preparations to make it my new home. With some organized chests in my new home, I continued my way to the battle tower. To keep it short and simple, I died a few times here trying to get some loot and XP. While walking around the tower, I stumbled upon a random waste stone near a tree with moss growing all over it. I would now be able to quickly teleport between the village and the battle tower. Also, since the bell tower is nearby, I could just walk over to my base from this waystone as well. So with that being said, I started to move items from my old base in the village over to my new hobbit house. Also, for some context, the reason why I'm trying to pick up and reuse my torches is because there's a mod that makes torches realistic, meaning they eventually run out of light and you have to use a matchbox to reignite them. The thing is, however, structures spawn in Minecraft torches, not torches from the realistic torches mod. So that's why I'm valuing these torches pretty high. Oh, and don't think that the recipe for the normal Minecraft torches is disabled. It's just way more expensive, and you have to go inside the nether to get glowstone for the recipe. And if you don't know RLCraft, the nether is extremely dangerous, and you do not want to be going there. After putting back most of my stuff in the new base, I looted some of the bedrooms since I had more space in my inventory now. I then put some items in the chests, and went to sleep in a bed to end day 3. For the morning of day 4, I mostly just spent it organizing items in my chest and inventory. After that, I collected some wheat seeds from the grass around my house, and then looked for some other crops in my chest to use my new farm. I then went to do a bit of mining. At the time, I didn't think much of it, but it would soon become pretty stressful and annoying. However, that would have to wait until a later day, so I went to bed and finished off day 4. On day 5, I added a couple more seeds to the farm, and decided to try and get some more XP from the battle tower. When I got there, I had the idea of digging down to one of the tower's floors, and then just continuously swinging my sword until I got however much XP I wanted. And well, as you'll see, my plan didn't work out that well. And yeah, a stupid little came out of nowhere and killed me. And so that was the first of many deaths that would now start happening. Anyways, I went back to the tower to get my stuff. One thing I can tell you about these battle towers is that these spiders are annoying and shouldn't be in the game. Sorry about that, I just had to let that off my chest. Those spiders are so annoying, and I had to die to them so many times. I'll just skip the part where I died a couple of times. We don't need to see that, right? And voila, I'm at my base. The power of editing. So, after coming back to my base, I decided to move my bed somewhere closer to the storage room. Originally, I was gonna place it by this other window with this table and seat, but I already broken into that window and messed it up, so I decided to go to the other window and just place my bed there. After setting up my bed, I went to sleep. On day 6, as if I hadn't learned my lesson, I decided for the morning that I'd go back to the battle tower for some XP. So, I won't show you because all I did was break some spawners and kill some mobs, and you don't really need to see that. After making it back home, I finally thought of making a shield. I looked for an iron shield recipe and made it. Having a shield and some iron armor, I was confident enough to go and explore. Before going anywhere though, I want to sleep so that I wouldn't have to deal with the mobs that roam in the night. I then went across my mountain, nearly past another dragon, and made my way to a swamp biome. All I really did in the swamp biome was kill some animals for XP. Unfortunately though, I did die once from a tree monster. Some of these mobs give me heart attacks. They come out of nowhere. I was just breaking some leaves and boom, a couple hits and I'm dead from this monster. After dying, I made myself a boat so I could make my way back a bit quicker. If you don't know, in 1.12.2, swimming is way slower than how it is now. Dumb me, always wanting more, decided to go into this underground dungeon looking place, and I got close to dying a few times. Thankfully though, I didn't. I don't know why, but I felt confident. However, I keep neglecting how spiders have poison, and how if you get it, you have a big chance of dying. Like, as you see here, I was down to 2 hearts. 2 hearts. I have no idea how I survived. Your guess is as good as mine. Thankfully though, I was able to make it out of the dungeon without getting knocked off the staircase. I then started to head back home since it was nighttime. When I got back home, a stupid reaper prevented me from going to bed. I dealt with it, but at the time, I thought these reapers were just annoying, but boy was I wrong. I eventually found out how powerful they can be. On day 8, I went back exploring, mainly looking for some leather. I found I could store water in a pouch of some sort. This could be useful later on in areas like the Nether. After some leather gathering, I went to this other village I found on the map. The very first thing I did when I discovered the village was go to its waystone so that I could fast travel to it later. I then found this peculiar looking brick structure that didn't look like it belonged in the village, so smart me thought it'd be a great idea to go and explore it. And man was I wrong. This is when I found out how strong the Reaper really is. The dumb little thing that I was killing mere days ago had now murdered me in a brick dungeon of some sort, so it was going to be really hard to get my stuff back. Let's just say I died a few times. I tried to lure away the Reapers guarding my loot, but to keep it short, not only would I die each time I entered the dungeon, but it had already been so long that my stuff unfortunately despawned. It was the stupid volcan. If it only wasn't there, I could have escaped with my stuff. After some time, I realized I wouldn't be able to leave with any of my loot, so I just made my way back home. Getting back home was a struggle. I had to make it through a bunch of mobs, so to heal up, I crafted myself some bandages. I then made some tools for myself and a few stacks of torches and a matchbox. I was going to go mining again. Remember when I said mining would turn out to be stressful and annoying? Well, you're about to find out. After mining a bit down, I managed to find a cave system. I was looking around when suddenly I got attacked. Only a few minutes after that fight, I ran into another creature called Gru, and well, he basically insta-killed me. For some reason, when I died, I was teleported to my waystone instead of my bed, so I had to make the difficult journey back home since it was night. I then finally made it back home and was able to rest safely in my bed. On day 9, I woke up with determination to get my stuff back from the caves. After a bit of looking around, I found where I had gone and then found my stuff laying on the floor. I picked my stuff up and went back to the surface to go and smelt my iron. After After making it back up to my base, I put the cooked meat I had in my furnace inside my food chest, and then placed the iron I had in a furnace to smelt it. And so that's 10 days in RLCraft on the new hardest difficulty. I hope you enjoyed the video. I put in a lot of effort in this video. Actually, this is the biggest video I've ever done on my channel, so please do let me know what you thought of it in the description. And with that, please subscribe and like the video because it truly does help me out. And once again, thank you, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.